advice that I'm going to go through is certainly more generic and down the lines of concept and belief system and drills that you can be doing, but not necessarily directly related to you. So if you want to set up something more specific to your stroke, then we can do some digital coaching, send me some video, or we can set up a Zoom or a FaceTime session, and we can really kind of make some drills and tailor some practice for your stroke, what you could be doing, whether it's setup, grip, posture, in stroke mechanics. We can really tailor it to your stroke and make sure that over the next few weeks and months you can really making some positive changes and some real progress rather than drifting backwards. So give me a shout and we can set that up. So I've filmed a video here just to try and give you something that you can work on, even just in your own home, just to refine your putting stroke a little more. For me, these are good practice habits that you could be doing throughout the time that you play golf anyway, but under the current circumstances, I feel like this is something that you could really get on top of, give you something to do. Obviously get up and hit a few putts every so often throughout the day if you can set up a little putting station somewhere in the house. So yeah, a couple of key tips just in this next video here. Full link is in the comment section below, and I'll just take you through a couple of things that I would say would help you, not just for the short term over the next few weeks, but long term as well. Real couple of key components here for your putting. If we're to look at some of the key components of what you want when you're putting, one would be to read the green. The second, try and match a pace that's not only good in terms of distance control, but good to match the read that you've got so that the ball's going to break at the right point. Both of those are difficult to do in the current situation unless you've got an artificial green at home. So what you could be doing is at least working on start line and getting the ball to start on the line that you're choosing. And there's a couple of different ways that you can do this. So if you've got a template, such as the one that I've got on the ground here, you'll have a few guides as to where you might set a gate to get your ball started, from a slightly easier position where the gates are a little wider through to much narrower where it's a bit more difficult, where you may only just fit the golf ball in between that gate. That gate is going to be the best part of 12 inches in front of your start position, so a foot. Don't worry about these two, they're just there to keep the mat weighted down. So depending on your skill level, you might start at different widths. And to give you a guide, if you haven't got a template and you're looking to kind of figure out how wide you want to start that, a good starting point would be 60 mil. So if you start at 6 centimeters wide, if you can get it down to 50 mil with a bit of practice, that would be exceptionally good. And it's just something that you could be working on every so often when you're practicing at home. So given that we're starting a foot behind that start line there, I've got that set there to the more difficult one there. Another one, just on going off on a small tangent, if you use a line on the ball, it's also a good healthy practice to just keep routinely coming back, setting that up as accurately as possible to the position that you want to try and hit your ball to. This works particularly well even if you can't put to a specific target, so even if your carpet's not great, or if it's uneven, or if you're limited in terms of how much room you've got, you can still, as long as you've got room just to swing a putter and just get a ball started online, you can be doing this anywhere really. So line set up, I would do that routinely, make sure I've got it started right in between the gates. The template here helps because I've got a line towards that target just there. And then it's a case of just going through what you'd normally do when you take your putt. start position as accurately as you would normally get it into. And then work on starting that ball through the gate. So if you then start to pick up a pattern of, let's say you hit the right gate or the left gate, and that's quite a consistent pattern, it wouldn't be unusual for a player to have quite a consistent aim bias, so they might aim a bit right or a bit left, meaning that the putter face is often starting right or left, and then you're returning it back to that same position. So this is something that again you could identify and work at through these next few days, weeks, months, depending on how long we can find to where we're at the minute. So again, the template that I've got here does help because I've got a nice square line that's matched to the direction I'm going to hit my putt. But you can create your own line that's perpendicular to the target that you're hitting to. So even if it's just a bit of tape that you put down, and then just match the front of your putter face to that tape, and that's just going to help you to really kind of understand where that square position is. Which, if you've got a putting mirror, a lot of people would have a similar line on a putting mirror, but just a piece of tape, whether it's masking tape or electrical tape, just flat on the ground, or a piece of paper, just to help coordinate your start position with the face and the intent start line that you've got. So quite often it's just a case of good routine maintenance, and this is something that players would do week in, week out. It's not something that's necessarily a given right to be able to do all the time. They're routinely going through this to make sure that they keep those fine details as tight as possible, especially in putting where those tiny little margins will make such a difference. So you've got time to spend, which you might at the moment. Just going to weight that down a little bit at the back. Just doing this a few minutes a day would be a huge benefit. Not only just keep you a little sharp, but it might actually see a nice improvement to what you're able to do putting wise. So the more you can get through that gate, the more you're going to be much likely to control that start line, the line that you've picked out when you're actually playing as your start line. That start line might be right or left of the hole, but if that's your start line, let's see if you can start it there. So it's a nice, simple way to be able to really kind of stay sharp on something over the next few, well, not even just the next few weeks and months, but forever really. Particularly if I'm playing in an event, or if I've more so in the past when I was playing a lot, I would often do this in the evening just at home, just picking up a putter and just setting something up like this and just hitting a few putts, just hitting it through that gate. And if you find that it's pretty easy, you've either got the gate a little bit too wide, or you're just very, very good at your start line. So the other thing that you can pick out, and you can see on the template here, and this is quite a big one when it comes to players' beliefs and what they're trying to do with their putts, is that there's a clear arc to this template. So you can see the thick black line has got a path which is going to take the putter in, back to square, back in again. One of the most popular things that I would see when players come and see me is that their concept is that they're under the impression that the putter's going to swing straight back, and then you're going to try and swing it straight through. And it's possible, but it's difficult given the way that we stand to the putt and the way that the position of the putter, the way that the shaft sits. In order to create that, if I use the skirting board as an example, in order to do that, I have to manipulate and almost twist my arms and get that putter to work out in a straight line, and then to work it back again. To prevent the putter face from being closed, I have to open up so that my arms are rotating in the opposite direction to what they would typically naturally want to do, to try and hold it square. So there's quite a lot of extra movement. So it ends up being this, to try and get it to work, you end up hooding the face and it's quite closed, to then trying to hold it open. So there's quite a lot of manipulation, as you can see there, with the forearms. In order to try and keep the face square and have a more natural stroke, we're going to see some elements of rotation in the face and some arc. The amount of arc will depend on how high you set the putter up in setup. If you hold it quite low, you might have a little bit more arc. If you set it up quite high, it might be shallower. And that's all much more preferential to individual players, how you stand or how tall you are and what the setup of the putter is. But it's a good healthy thing to routinely practice, and it's something that I would do routinely. When I jump on my software on Capto, I would have a habit of, actually, it can fluctuate one way or the other, but typically it would drift a bit too much in, so I have a bit too much arc and I end up pushing my putts. So I then go through stages of feeling like it's a little bit straighter. It won't be straight, but I'll feel a bit straighter. So I just use either Template or Capto to help me to calibrate a stroke that's going to work for me. So these templates you can get from Visio, or contact me and I can hook you up with one. The other thing to this as well, I mean, this is some of the information I'm giving you is quite generic, which is important to know a lot of this stuff, but at the same time, I prefer to try and give you some more specific information to your stroke. So that's where you can contact me and we can set up some digital coaching, whether it's sending videos into me, or we can set up a FaceTime appointment or a Zoom appointment where we can have a look at your stroke, have a look at your setup, have a little look at what drills might work for you in terms of what you can be doing in the house. As you can see, I've just got a small space here which I'm able to just kind of really just make some strokes and get a start line going. So it's very manageable to be able to do this, practicing, like I said, not just for the next few weeks and months, but if you're serious about getting a stroke that really works for you and you get the most out of it, then doing something like this on a regular basis. So if you want to check out more details, they'll be in the comments section below, or contact me directly, and we can certainly get you some help and make sure you're doing the drills and practice that you need over the coming weeks.